A moment of silence. A new bill could require each school day to start just like that. We'll talk to legislators about the reasoning behind it. And on the federal side of politics, one leader is saying he is sorry. We'll have more on Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's health and his apology.
Plus, high pressure controls the forecast this evening, but a few changes are looming for Friday. Those details coming up as Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Mountain News First at 4 continues.
Yesterday in Frankfort, the Kentucky House of Representatives passed House Bill 96 by a vote of 79 to 17. It would require moments of silence or reflection at the start of each school day. Jessica Umbro spoke with one of the sponsors of that bill and a representative who voted against it, saying it would essentially put prayer into schools.
House Bill 96 calls for a moment of silence to kick off each school day here in Kentucky. And it's a bill that has caused some controversy, with the bill's supporters saying it gives students a couple of moments to collect themselves. However, opposers of the bill say that it would push prayer in public schools.
Well, it allows the child to prepare himself for the day, and that's what this bill does. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything else.
Representative Dan Pfister says House Bill 96 would ask parents to give their children guidance on how to spend a moment or two of silence at the beginning of each school day, whether it be prayer, silent reflection, or nothing at all.
We do not want the schools to mandate that they have to pray or that they can't pray or what have you. Let it be a personal thing and let the family, the parents, instruct them in that direction.
However, Democratic Representative Daniel Grossberg says the suggestion to pray could isolate students who come from different backgrounds than their classmates.
Many types of prayer are physical and visible, and in fact, other faith groups might pray in a way that would ultimately get them isolated, which might even be more harmful to them than those students who remain silent and don't pray at all.
And Representative Grossberg says the legislature should be focused on different topics entirely.
We should be addressing issues of actual crises, and I don't have anyone ever telling me that the major issue going on in Kentucky is that we don't have enough silence in schools or enough prayer in schools.
House Bill 96 will now make its way to the Senate chamber, where Representative Pfister says he is confident that the bill will pass as is. In Frankfort, Jessica Umbro, WKYT.
Now for a look at national politics, the Senate Judiciary Committee had a hearing yesterday to talk with social media CEOs about online sexual child exploitation. During that hearing, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg was asked if he would like to apologize to the families who were reportedly impacted by sexual child exploitation on Meta. Zuckerberg then stood up facing the families and apologized, saying that Meta would continue to work to make sure no other families have to go through what they went through. President Joe Biden has issued sanctions against 4 Israeli nationals for reported acts of violence in the West Bank. The action comes under a new executive order today, targeting those responsible for violence in the wake of the Israeli invasion of Gaza. The State Department says ultimately dozens of people and their relatives could be impacted by the directive.
We are tracking some awesome weather across the region on this first day of February. We are dry under plenty of blue sky and sunshine. Here's a live look across the mountains, as you can see, from the London Corbin Airport to I-64 in Rowan County, from Pikeville to the WYMT studios. Some fantastic weather continues across the region on this Thursday. Current temperatures are well above average. We should be in the middle 40s, most of us right now in the middle to upper 50s, up to 57 for Manchester, Somerset, Monticello, 56 in Harlan, 55 in Middlesboro, and 54 over in Pikeville at this hour. And we promised to warm up, and it delivered. Most of us between 10 and 15 degrees warmer today compared to this time on Wednesday. Up on the radar, we are dry on first alert pinpoint Doppler, as high pressure is the big story for now. But notice back to the north, close to Michigan, also Wisconsin, we are tracking a cold front. Now the air is dry, so most of us once again do stay dry. As we go into tomorrow, a small chance of a passing sprinkle thanks to that weather system. But we're also tracking some slightly cooler air because of that cold front by Friday. Your forecast tonight, though, we are mainly dry, also partly to mainly cloudy. Those clouds do increase overnight, and low temperatures are cool as you wake up on Friday in the middle to upper 30s. But some above average weather is once again looming for the weekend. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Cameron, thanks. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is apologizing to the American people for not disclosing his hospitalization for several days last month. The secretary addressed his health while also commenting on the drone strike that killed 3 U.S. service members at a U.S. outpost in Jordan. CBS's Natalie Brand reports from Washington.
In his first news conference since his hospitalization, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin started by honoring the memories of the 3 troops killed this week in Jordan.
We will respond when we choose, where we choose, and how we choose.
Secretary Austin, calling it a dangerous time in the Middle East, says the response to the attack by an Iranian-backed militia group will be multi-tiered.
It's time to take away even more capability than we've taken in the past.
The Defense Secretary's appearance comes as he continues to recover from prostate cancer surgery complications, a health battle he initially kept a secret from the White House.
I did not handle this right. I should have told the president about my cancer diagnosis. I should have also told my team and the American public. I apologize to my teammates and to the American people.
Austin says he never directed anyone to keep his hospitalization from the administration, but conceded that his first instinct after getting the diagnosis was to keep the matter private.
The news shook me, and I know that it shakes so many others, especially in the black community. It was a gut punch.
Secretary Austin said he realizes his cancer battle is an opportunity to encourage others to get screened and treated. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Austin continues to face heavy criticism for his lack of disclosure about his health issues. He has been called to testify later this month before the House Armed Services Committee. The Pentagon is also conducting an internal review of the matter, and there is also an ongoing Inspector General review. Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is pushing to get Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar censured. A resolution was introduced Thursday as privileged, which means the action will have to be addressed within the next 2 legislative days. Greene says she took this step because Omar reportedly told a group of her constituents that she puts Somalia's interests ahead of U.S. interests. Omar is the first Somali American member of Congress.
Whereas on January 27, 2024, Representative Omar gave remarks at an event in Minneapolis in which she made treasonous statements. Whereas Representative Omar said she has spoken to many Somalians who asked her to intercede for the Somali government by pressuring the United States government into certain actions.
Omar says the translation of what she said to the group was inaccurate. Greene says Omar should be expelled and deported. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says this censure attempt is, quote, frivolous. Coming up on First at 4, are you distracted by highway signs when driving? Federal officials are looking to put a stop to catchy and funny signs to help keep you focused.
Plus, we are dry this afternoon, but a few changes are possible by Friday, all thanks to this cold front. Those details coming up after this break.